within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
It's a high fly ball to left center field, pretty deeply struck. Back goes Kaiser at the wall. It is gone into the Padres bullpen. A blast to left center field for Rodolfo Duran. Padres take a 4-1 lead. Oh, 432.
Yeah, Rodolfo Duran, whoever that is. Sure, why not? Who is the courtesy?
Padres TV.
Sure, courtesy of Padres TV. Yeah. Orioles lose 2 out of 3 to the Padres this weekend. Well, it's not like they had the tying and go-ahead runs and scoring position an inning earlier with 1 out and struck out twice to end the inning. Not like that occurred.
Well, I mean, that's just too difficult of a spot to think you can muster across a run, you know.
Thanks for hanging out late in the afternoon. Oh, that's right. Belgium's playing right now.
Yeah.
That's important for some of us. Some of us.
Yeah, because we'd like to see them lose.
Definitely knew what the schedule was and didn't think that Belgium played Japan yesterday.
You thought they were...
I don't know why, but...
Well, I guess the colors of the Netherlands
I got a
flag
text
maybe.
from Kyle Ottenheimer, who decided he was going to be a part of this, even though he complained about it endlessly, and we made a huge mistake.
He's off to a good start.
Yeah, I tried to explain that to him. He was like, oh, I don't really like my team. I said, Kyle, get the F out of here.
You got Cape
Morocco
Verde.
is a... oh, my God.
Yeah,
he had Cape Verde, too?
He stole a point.
That was the sound.
Is that what Kyle's...
That was the sound.
Is Kyle in here?
It's he's Chewbacca, apparently. Oh my God, I was so annoyed by him. I was so annoyed. But I said, dude, imagine being me. I got Belgium, and they lost 2-2 to Japan. And he was like, they played the Netherlands. I said, son of a bitch, I'm back, baby! I don't know why I thought it was Belgium. I have no idea.
Well, go with...
It wasn't.
Colson has Egypt, so I don't know. I guess I'm rooting for Colson. Yeah. And he had
Oh?
Ecuador. Ecuador already lost yesterday,
Oh.
so he's down. So he's down a point. You know, he's down
Yeah,
points.
Cape Verde had Giants.
None of my teams, or no,
I mean,
Turkey.
a statement 0-0 victory for Cape Verde. over Spain
I was about to
today.
say none of my teams play. I have Turkey. Turkey played awful against Australia. They looked.
It's like they don't even know.
They looked.
It's
awful.
like that nobody even told them.
I know. Do they know that they're playing?
They
for
just
me?
think they're playing in the World Cup. They didn't realize they're
Happy to
playing
be here.
in our World Cup draw. Oh, who's calling me? Arizona. You think I should answer it?
Arizona?
Yeah,
Sure.
Arizona.
I mean, what do I do?
Hi, Arizona.
Okay.
Well, Arizona didn't really want to talk to me.
they were-
That's a shame.
They were probably excited about the Belgium.
Is that you think what it was?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Orioles did something or whatever. They lost 2 out of 3. A couple of thoughts that I have.
You want to react to the All-Star ballots and?
Yeah, sure. Couple of thoughts. One being, I'm probably gonna let Zach talk more about the man baby stuff. I can only say it so many times whenever these things come up. It is as man baby gets. It is so sad, so pathetic, and for all of the things that I love about baseball, of which there are a great many, I desperately love baseball. But every now and then, baseball wants to do something to make you not love it as much. And everything about this bullshit from the weekend is very high on the list of the things that baseball tries to do to get you to not love it. because my 11-year-old played in a playoff game on Saturday, and my 11-year-old, believe it or not, their team, one of the pitchers, hit an opposing player in the head with a baseball. But everyone there, of course, knew there was no intention behind it. He's 11. And he felt awful. Thankfully, the kid was okay. At no point did anyone say, well, we better make sure we hit one of them. So I don't know when this indoctrination occurs. I don't know where you go to get radicalized. I don't know if it's the schools. Maybe it's the churches. I don't know where the radicalization occurs. But it is deeply pathetic. It is deeply embarrassing. And anyone who hides behind the "that's just baseball" is a coward. You're not a real, if you're a male, you're not a real man. Because those of us that can process and think understand that none of this works this way. Even Craig Albertaz afterwards, even Craig Albertaz afterwards, that's embarrassing too. And maybe what Craig Albertaz was really trying to do was say, I don't want this to be a thing anymore. I just want it to be over, so I'll put up with it. Maybe he doesn't actually believe it. The way he said it certainly makes you think that he believes it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's nothing more than, what can I do here to try to make this go away? Because I don't want to deal with it tomorrow. I don't want to deal with it again in the future. Maybe. But all of it is embarrassing. The actions of the Padres were embarrassing. Craig Albertaz suggesting that it was okay is embarrassing. It's all deeply, deeply embarrassing. We're getting to a point, too. The reality is the Orioles and the Padres are done. So it kind of doesn't matter.
Until October.
Oh, right. Great point. It kind of doesn't matter. The bigger question is, where is Craig Albertaz with this team? And obviously, this was one of the more interesting weeks of the season for Craig Albertaz specifically. I don't know, as I've said a million times, I have no idea if Craig Albertaz is a legitimate major league manager. I don't. The results to this point would tell you he's a guy. I would think that most anyone that were to be given this opportunity would be able to have this type of record with this team. I still don't know all of the details when it comes to Basayo. I don't. I've asked. I've gotten little bits and pieces here and there. I still don't know. Samuel Basayo, according to Jacob Calvin-Meyer, said, I don't want to get into that. It's been fine. We are a team, so we just keep focused on winning, and whatever happened to happen. You just have to keep going and keep winning games. I hope that Craig Albertaz has the pulse of the team. And perhaps the reality is that this team has needed to be pushed. And maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe he's trying to push them and they're not. I don't know. Remember, I said before the season, this is why I wanted a veteran, an experienced, an accomplished manager in, because I wanted that manager to come in and push and demand more from this group. And maybe that's part of what's going on, is that Craig Albertaz is trying to do that. And whether his lack of cachet, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. The Orioles didn't have a bad week. They had a losing week. But it wasn't disastrous. The problem is they don't have room for this. And the more of this other stuff that goes on, it's harder and harder to believe that they are going to turn this into a stretch where they win 20 out of 27 games, something that dramatically changes or alters the season That's too much. 20 out of 30. That makes you believe, all right, this wasn't just a fluke where they won some games. They're actually good. I keep coming back to it. This stuff with I don't care. I'm over it. I'm over it to the extent of it's not going to matter anymore moving forward. I do hope that if Craig Albertaz is speaking for Gunnar Henderson, that we don't find out that Gunnar Henderson doesn't feel that way. I hope he's not trying to convince Gunnar Henderson that's how he feels. Now, Gunnar Henderson is part of the problem. And nice night Friday night. Yeah. That's why he's up there. But on the whole, he's part of the problem. This year, he's been as much a part of the problem, if not more, than part of the solution. And there's no getting around that. I keep coming back to the same thing. I can't panic because the Orioles aren't so far out of it that we can say all hope is lost. But at the same time, the reality of their circumstances is they have a very finite amount of time remaining to put themselves in position to justify the type of bold move that is necessary for this team to have the opportunity to do anything of relevance in the postseason. Sneaking around a third wild card spot is not an accomplishment for the 2026 Orioles. Comparably, it would be like if, let's just say hypothetically, you decided to go to war with Iran and you, made everybody's gas prices go up and they had to pay a boatload more. And then you did a deal at the end, and everybody was like, hey, what'd you get out of the deal? And in the end, it was the exact same place as you were before you went to war with Iran. Hypothetically. This is not a year in which the Orioles can celebrate the fact that they moved the goalposts and say, well, we got into the playoffs after missing the playoffs last year. That was an unmitigated disaster. We know because you fired the manager over it. This team is not good enough, even if they can hang on the fringes to be in the wild card picture. It is not good enough as constituted to make some sort of postseason run. Period. It's not there. I don't know that it's there to definitely be a playoff contender. We still have to learn that. But it is definitively not there to be making a threat to win the American League. Doing that requires bringing in real horses. Game changers. And that's going to be hard enough to do. But even considering it requires you being in a position where it can be warranted. And that's the problem with the Orioles having a 3-4 week. They don't have room for 3 and 4 weeks. They don't have room for losing homestands right now. It's not the end of the world that they're 5 games under 500 if your goal is sneaking around. But why would that be your goal? Spare me, the American League isn't all that good. These aren't accomplishments. These are not the trajectories for a team that should be legitimately talking about winning championships. How do you justify firing your manager if the next guy is just good enough to be in the neighborhood of 500?
Well, I'm sure it'll be explained in the new book.
Everybody's very worked up about David Rubenstein writing a book about.
Well, I mean,
if I know based on David Rubenstein's track record says he's not really writing about himself. His track record is he's interviewing a bunch of people that are involved, and that's what the book is about. The Orioles have to be above 500. They have to be moving in a trajectory that they have a real chance by like the third week of July to convince ownership and the front office that it makes sense to try to take big swings, which again will be hard enough to do because those players, one, have to be available, and you have to have what it is that someone wants in order to acquire them. If they're not in that position, you can't justify taking those types of swings. Remember how much we all scoffed at the Gerardo Parra trade? What are you doing? You're not even good.
What was the record at that point?
I don't even remember. They weren't a good baseball team at all.
Were they?
And that wasn't
over
even a bold
500
move.
though?
You weren't even giving up, a lot to get Gerardo Parra. It was just the idea of giving up anything at all. Why is this team doing that? You can't justify trying to take a big swing if the baseball team isn't good. The clock is running. It is June 15th. It is mid-June. You've got a month. It really is. You better go 20-10 in your next 30 baseball games. At worst. That gets you 5 games over 500. That gets you in a situation where you can believe something is happening here. If they play 500 ball between now and mid-July, how are you justifying being aggressive at the deadline? You can still specifically look for guys that aren't on expiring contracts and say it's not really about this year, it's about you can try to do that. But this is the reality every day that goes by. The unwritten rule stuff bothers me. It bothers the bejesus out of me. It's so deeply embarrassing. We are so deeply fragile and pathetic. But this is so much more important. The clock is running out. And you don't realize it because you don't realize the clock is running. This was a bad weekend. Bad. Flat bad. There's no getting around. Like that scene yesterday, the Rico Garcia part of it sucks, man. It sucks that Rico Garcia, who has been swimming in waters far deeper than we should have ever expected him to swim in, is now looking more like, human. That part sucks. The part of that is we readjusted our expectations maybe a bit unfairly for Rico Garcia. Or he just can't have a clean inning. I've got to figure out which one of those that is. Maybe Rico Garcia just needs there to be runners on base. It's the thing that happened before it. I cannot escape. Because we have been asking for the Orioles to do the little things, play small ball in recent years. It, in a way, is anti-analytics. When we rage about analytics, the concept of advanced data says don't give away outs. That guy that's bunting might hit a home run. We're supposed to like the fact that the Orioles this year have consistently attempted to play small ball. Let's make sure we're getting runs. And I don't want to pile on Colton Cowser because it was neat that Colton Cowser started playing baseball again. But it's unacceptable. And Jackson Holliday is not progressing. You're not seeing someone that warranted being the number 1 overall pick. It's depressing. It's tough, man. And none of it means that they can't be better than this. We've already seen a stretch where they were better than this. But they're running out of time to actually be better than this in order to still have time to make the moves necessary for them to be legitimate contenders. that scene yesterday, second and third, 1 out. Holy crap! Belgium's trailing. Sorry, got derailed. That scene
Things couldn't get worse for you over there.
really couldn't. Why don't you add on to that? Pool's falling apart. That scene yesterday, to go from second and third with 1 out, back-to-back strikeouts, and then allowing 2 runs is as gut punch gets. It's choking. Their inability to produce, to get a base hit with someone in scoring position. Would they finish the weekend? Like 2 for 26 or something. Like, go back and look up what the numbers were. I should have done that. I've had a busy day. It was outrageous. It was something like 2 for 28.
Let's see. Hold on.
Infuriating.
I had yesterday's in front of me.
The box scores. Oh,
Zach
great.
probably knows off the top of his
Zach
head.
might know off the top of his head. Zach Moore, the bat around Pigtown Sports. Maybe he can make me feel better. Good morning, Zach. Oh, no, it's not morning. We're doing the show in the afternoon. Good afternoon, Zach. How are you, pal?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I don't know.
2 for 22, by the way.
For the weekend?
Yeah, 2 for
I
22
thought,
against
I
Padres.
thought it was more than that. Oh, damn. Still.
Valiant effort. Valiant effort.
Valiant effort. 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position. 2 for 20. I feel like Bob Uecker in Major League. That's all we had? One goddamn hit. How you been, bud? Everything good?
Yeah, man. Yeah, been busy.
Tell me when the indoctrination happens. Tell me when it is that baseball players get radicalized into this bullshit with the unwritten rules. Tell me when, because like it doesn't happen with my 11-year-old's team. Who radicalizes baseball players into thinking that this nonsense that they say makes sense and it's justifiable because it's just the game. That's just the way it works.
Usually until not after it happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't learn that you weren't supposed to steal on a major league rehab guy until after I did it, and then he drilled me.
Is that a rule? That's a rule. If somebody's rehabbing, you're not allowed to steal a base against them?
They don't want you to, yeah.
Who was it?
Adam Wainwright.
No!
Yeah. Turned around, drilled me in the ribs, and then laughed at me.
No ass.
Yeah.
That's legitimately.
Yep.
Did your guys on the team tell you that afterwards? Did anybody
The coach did, yeah.
Oh, a coach did. So were
Yeah.
you expecting it when you came back up, or?
No. So when I stole second, I took my next lead off. He just kind of stepped off and just lazily just threw about 90 right into my ribs when I was diving back in, and then just kind of laughed at me.
Jesus.
Yeah. And he's like, "Don't run, Rook." And I was like, "Oh, okay, my bad."
Holy F, man.
Yeah.
Why are baseball players uniquely so fragile about this stuff? What is it? I say that because look, there's dumb things in every sport. Like I acknowledge it, and we're all man babies to some extent. Like we all just have things that we get worked up about. But what is it that that legitimately Craig Albernaz is trying to defend it after the game? Like what is it that baseball has seeped this into your mind? This is everyone with a brain knows that Trey Gibson wasn't hunting anyone's head. But no, this is just the way it works, man. Sorry, you just got to deal with it. We got to let them, when them boys get that sugar in them, like, what is it?
That's a good question. I think people just kind of get used to the game. And, I mean, it's a pretty darn good game. There's no reason to kind of change it.
I would change this. Because, Zach, I said that earlier. I love baseball. I love everything about it until this happens again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, any kind of a mistake could happen. And hitting somebody in the hip, it's a no big deal. Like, you get your point across, like, whatever, and you go on about your day. Could miss. You could hit somebody in the head.
That's
or
the problem.
You could hit him in the lung or something. Like, anything could happen. And, yeah, that's where it does become the problem. And, I mean, especially without sticky stuff nowadays, you don't really want to throw at somebody because you don't know where it's going. But, I mean, it's just, like you said, it's an unwritten rule, and it's just what everybody is expected to do in that situation.
We have to. Like, I swear to God. My kids are I'm trying to explain it to my son who is having a romantic feeling about baseball right now. Just played in the playoffs on Saturday. This is dumb. I don't know what else to tell you. This is stupidity. You're watching a bunch of overgrown man babies be stupid, and it's all I can offer to it. Zach, I'm worked up because the Orioles don't have 3-4 is not the end of the world if you don't dig yourself a terrible hole to start the season. And while the season still has plenty of time in it, I keep coming back to there is no world in which being in the mix for a third playoff spot is an accomplishment for the Orioles in 2026. That is not where they should be whatsoever. That is an indictment if that's where you are. The only hope of competing for something more than that, to me, is to add some real pieces at the deadline that can give you that opportunity. The only way you can justify that is if you are, like, seriously over 500 as you get closer to the trade deadline. I'm not trying to panic, but in a way, I don't think we're taking seriously, like, how much trouble they're in given the realities of where they are on the calendar.
Yeah, and one hot month could change everything, but I mean, I'm with you. I think the cover has been lifted off the panic button. They're not playing consistently good baseball. You see it a couple nights a week, and then it's just like a brain fart, or brain fart 2 or 3 games in a row, and it just they can't seem to kind of piece it together. But I'll tell you too, I'm blue in the face that this should be a playoff team. I mean, when you kind of look around, but when you play the defense that they do, and you have the kind of mental mistakes that they do, and then you have these pitching lapses, they're making it hard on themselves.
The runners in scoring position thing has been uniquely infuriating because after they started playing good baseball again, these things seem to get louder and the numbers seem to get worse. And I don't know if it's all just dumb luck. It happens to be a couple of weeks where it didn't work out, or if it speaks to more of the general approach that they have at the plate. But as you say, 2 for 22 for the weekend. It has been a mess with runners in scoring position the entirety of the homestand.
So I actually just pulled the numbers a couple hours ago, actually. And I wish runs scored would go with this because you get like a better idea. But I did the numbers with runners in scoring position per out. With no outs, they're hitting 225, which is 25th in the league. With 1 out, they're hitting 320, which is 3rd best in the league. And then with 2 outs, they're hitting 191, which is 28th in the league. So, and then when you have runners on third, no outs, 250, 25th, 1 out, 390, 2nd, 2 outs, 220, 15th. So is it a focus issue? Is it a philosophy issue? Is it an approach issue? Like you said, those numbers they're weird. I don't think there's any other way to describe that. That's just weird, in my opinion.
And the way that it almost feels like dumb. Like what is really changing between 0 and 1 out? Like
right.
I guess
unless and that's why I wanted like runs scored to kind of come with it.
Yeah, I was
if
gonna say
have productive 0 outs and like getting a guy over sack wise, that's one thing. And then obviously you're doing your job with 1 out, but it's almost like everything just the belt loop gets a little tighter with 2 outs.
Well, it does make you wonder if with 1 out, are they no longer swinging for home runs? They're now saying, hey, we know that there's a lot of other things that we can do that can be productive here. And when that happens, are they getting more hits because they're not swinging out of their shoes in those situations?
One would probably think.
It seems like that could happen a bit more frequently. It seems like that could be the case. I just brought up, I don't know why it bothered me so much, but the one yesterday really bothered me. It really bothered me after the bunt. And part of it is because we have spent a lot of time, Zach, the last couple of years, when we rail against analytics, and I always hate doing it broadly because analytics is just data. Data isn't the problem, right? Like, data can be good. But one of the things we talked about is, like, the small ball's gone, right? Like, we stopped doing these things. And to their credit, Craig Albernaz this year has prioritized bunting. There has been an awful lot of sacrifice bunting. What there hasn't been is a team that's been taking advantage of that after there's been sacrifice bunting. And so that one yesterday bothered the hell out of me. I don't put it all on Jackson Holliday. He came up with 2 outs, right? But I don't know what's going on with Jackson Holliday. I don't know why Jackson Holliday isn't the baseball player that we thought he was going to be. And I get that it's still a small sample size on the season, but you're not seeing the things that make you believe that Jackson Holliday is the superstar game changer that was worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. How do you define what Jackson Holliday is, what he's capable of, why it might still be too soon for me to be so concerned? What is your takeaway on Jackson Holliday?
Holiday's gotten a little bit better from last year. In the box, I feel like his eyes gotten a little bit better. I feel like his hand movements have gotten a little bit better. The fielding has gotten a little bit better. A one of one you expect to kind of explode onto the scene a little bit because some guys do, some don't. But he has taken a small step forward, even after an injury, because this is still kind of his spring training. I think we're kind of creeping up on that line where it should be the real deal. But with him, he still tries to pull the ball too much, and I feel like his game is much better than that. He's a big, strong, small kid. I mean, I shouldn't even call him small, but he's a big, strong kid. I mean, you can see him on TV. He's a well-built kid, and yes, he can probably hit the ball out of the ballpark 20 or 30 times in a season if he put it all together. But when I look at some of these numbers, again, I pulled numbers this morning. Apologize. It's not just him, but none of the lefties can hit the ball in the outer half at all. And I'm looking at with him, he's 3 for 26 on the outer half with 13 Ks. Right, that would probably tell me he's trying to pull the ball way too much, and we see it. We see the front foot open a little bit, the hip opens a little bit, and
I say, dude, just go backside, especially with two strikes. With two,
and he's got the hands to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the back control to do it. He's got a 48% whiff rate out there. He's legitimately swinging through half the balls he's seeing out there. Cowser, same thing. He's 8 for 55 out there with 17 Ks with a 32% whiff. And Henderson's 19 for 122 out there with 33 Ks and a 30% whiff. So lefties are just trying to pull the ball. And I mean, when you look at how that stadium's built, can you blame them? But you still got to play baseball. And, I mean, when Gunnar Henderson's hot, Gunnar Henderson was driving the ball to left field, driving it to left center. Holiday has the same hands. He has the same back control. Cowser does too, honestly. I mean, that's the kind of hitter he was in college. That's what you thought you were getting. So to me, that kind of points a little bit to philosophy. Yes, we want to get the ball up in the air in right field in Camden Yards. Why? Because it's a short porch and the ball flies out that way. But I think they think about it too much. If you're in an 0-0 count or in a 1-0, 2-0 count and you want to do that, by all means. But you shouldn't be striking out or whiffing over 30% of the time. But why I thought this was interesting too is because I also pulled the righties up. So it's not just the lefties. The righties are even worse. So it is a philosophy thing to me. They're just hunting the ball in the inner half and they're trying to do damage on it. So when you look at that, can you only blame Jackson Holiday would be my question.
That's fair.
How much are we missing by maybe having a philosophy change out of Holiday, Cowser, Henderson, Mayo? Do we really know what kind of guys these are? You can only look at the numbers because they've had, a ton of games and a ton of at-bats at this point. So you could say, yeah, they are who they are, but can you?
Zach Moore is with us, former Orioles minor leaguer. Pigtown Sports is where you follow him. Zach, let me turn to the pitching. How concerned are you about Kyle Bradish's last couple of starts?
I think you have to expect him to hit a wall eventually. Because, we talked about it all the offseason, limiting his innings and stuff like that, being on a pitch count. And then he started off horrible and was not really getting deep into ball games. So you were thinking okay, maybe we can kind of keep his pitch count low this year and whatnot. And then he got a little bit better again. And I'm wondering if he's hit that wall that we kind of expected him to leading up into the break. And then what do you get out of him? I just still feel like he's making some good pitches, but I still feel like their 2-strike approach on the mound between pitcher catcher is still not very good. It still seems it's very predictive for everybody, not just Bradish. But they're also almost in Rogers. I can kind of lump Rogers and Bradish in the same thing. I don't think they feel confident right now throwing anything else but fastball and 2 strikes. It's almost like they're just kind of aiming it in there instead of just letting it go. And if you let it go and you throw a ball, who cares? But when you're trying to aim it and you just nibble on the corner and you leave a ball there that's just not moving and you get crushed, I'd rather you throw a ball in the dirt. Concern level though, I'd give it maybe a 6.
Okay. That's actual concern. That's not a 2. That's a
I expected some kind of wall eventually, and then he'll bounce back at some point in the middle of the year when he gets available again. But What scares me is, remember that run, was it 23 that Tyler Wells went on?
Mm-hmm.
And he was really, really good, and then he just hit that wall, and it was just blah. And like he had to go down. He was just tired. I think concerns of that, PTSD, I guess, is probably a good way to say it. With Bradish not really pitching much in the last 2 seasons, to kind of just coming back and I'm seeing too much 97 out of him, in my opinion. I feel like he's kind of reaching back and throwing a little too hard, too much, and could it be affecting him? Maybe, because I mean, obviously some of the balls look great jumping out of the hand, but then some of the other ones don't. So is he tiring himself out faster, trying to hum it up 95, 97 all the time? I mean, he's pretty effective throwing 93, 94 all the time. So with 2 strikes, great, but I don't need to see it on a 1-0 count. Maybe he's making himself a little tired earlier than he should be.
Let me talk this through, because you brought up Tyler Wells in there, and obviously he looked fantastic in 3 innings last week. Trey Gibson is in the rotation until Dean Kramer can come back, right? And we don't know exactly when that's going to be, but you don't really seem to have an option. But I'll flush it out further, because what you allude to, they clearly wanted to do more 6-man rotation this year. They clearly, that was part of the plan, in part because of exactly what you allude to with Bradish and really with Rogers too, and their innings. They didn't want to have them going every 5 days. Right. Is there an argument after what you saw? Look, I wanted Tyler Wells to be a leverage arm for this team, and a team that needed more leverage arms. He was not handling the leverage spots. Like, that was just not working for him. Is there an argument for trying to stretch out Tyler Wells again at this point and saying we could really use, even if Kramer comes back, we could really use a 6th starter in this mix, and it doesn't really look like Trey Gibson is ready to hold down a rotation spot?
I mean, stretching him out at this point, I think, is almost maybe too late, because then you have to send him back down, and then you got to get him, like 4 or 5 starts, and now your bullpen's even weaker than it already was.
He did just pitch 3 innings, right? Like,
so what I'm
does it
thinking
require
is, like,
that?
It probably would, but if you used him as an opener in front of Gibson and gave him 2-3 innings a pop and gave Gibson time to kind of see how the game is going, get himself a long extended time to warm up, and maybe piggyback that a little bit, I could see that happening, because now you don't lose a pretty decent bullpen arm if you need it, but you also give him the opportunity in real time to extend himself with the big league team too, because, you start with an inning, and then you go maybe 2, and then you go 3, and then you say, hey, well, let's see where your pitch count takes you, kind of thing. We have Gibson available, because that's really going to chew it, you would hope. I mean, hopefully nobody gets rocked that night, but you would hope that would cover 6-7 innings with having the 2 of those guys. And that could spell your bullpen a good bit too. With Helsley coming back this next series, I don't know what they're thinking, but they wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. That way you keep Gibson keep Wells real time on the roster. And then in an emergency situation, you have him in the bullpen if you need him, kind of thing, or something like that. If he only went 1 or 2 innings, maybe like 2 days later, if a guy gets roughed up early, you can put him. He's going to be okay.
And then broadly, Zach, where are you with the events of last week? And Samuel Basayo, I alluded to some of the things that you had tweeted during the events of last week, how much they really matter, and where this club might be with Craig Albernes.
With the whole Gunner thing, I don't think it matters. To me, it almost shows a little bit of accountability on Craig's part to just be like, this is how it's going to be, and we're going to be okay with it. With 1 out in the 9th inning, like what's getting ejected going to do? You get a $30,000 fine for getting ejected with 1 out to go. Like, it doesn't do anything. Your team's not getting rah-rah, and they're going to come back out tomorrow and be just as flat. Like, it would have did nothing in this situation. But in the 3rd inning, or like if it happened the next day early on, he's probably getting tossed pretty quickly. It's a pick your battles kind of thing. And with the Basayo thing, I got a little bit of info on it, more than what's been put out there. The only thing I can really say about it is Craig basically put a blanket over top of Basayo and kind of weathered the storm with him. They kept it in-house. There was a lot more things going on than just an injury. And, they kept it together. And I'm a Craig guy, so I would give Craig kudos for kind of keeping everything together and keeping it in-house and keeping the team together kind of thing. Because it's not easy to be the guy that stands up there and just takes the full brunt of something that you're pretty much not at fault for. And I mean, Basayo has struggled recently. Last 12 games? I think he's hitting like 130 or something. Don't quote me on that. But they're trying to get through it, and does he have a little bit of pain going on? Yeah, he does. But I mean, to what Craig said, sometimes you got to learn how to play with it a little bit, and you got to learn how to, get your treatments done properly and get yourself healthy to play 162. Because, I mean, yeah, you're 21. You're not used to playing 162, but it's a long freaking grind. I mean, you only play, 120, 130 in the minors, and you get a good bit of days off and stuff. So, I mean, those extra 40 games are a big deal for young guys. And I think they're trying to, as a collective team, they're trying to teach him how to, keep himself together to, because he's good. He's a guy you want to play 162 games if you can, or 155 if you can. Like, kind of keep his body healthy and how to maintain it and stuff like that, and get through a long, grueling season.
Zach, remind everybody where they're following you on social media.
Twitter, YouTube is my two active places the most. That's on Pigtown Sports, and Instagram and was it TikTok sometimes too.
There you go. Give him a follow there. And, of course, you see him with Paul on the bat around as well. Zach Moore, always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for doing this. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
That's Zach Moore with us here on GCR. Let me come back in, talk a little bit about the World Cup. I don't want to right now because and if Belgium loses to Egypt, that just might be enough for me. I might just cancel the World Cup. That just might be the way that it works. I might just have to. Talk about that former U.S. men's national team member, Howard High School great, and former Terp, Desmond Armstrong, joins us next. Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game, it's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Back in here on GCR. It is a Monday. That means Sam the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson will be talking baseball a little bit later on after we finish up. They do it actually, you know what? They might be doing Tuesday this week. I apologize. But they do it every week, and it's brought to you by Warnken Law. Make sure you're checking them out as they get together every week. Also brought to you by the Costas Inn with two great locations, the OG in Dundalk and the new one in Timonium. Look at this man. He's got it all. Look at this guy right here. You know him. He a Terp, Howard High School legend, and former member of the United States men's national team. Looking unbelievable in his kit. He is the great Desmond Armstrong, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Man, that is a good look, Desmond.
I had to come correct. I know I was going to be on your show. I said, let me just pull it on out.
Man.
They gave it to me. The U.S. national team gave it to me, so I said, I'm going to wear it.
Man, and how could you not be fired up right now? How could you possibly not be fired up? Look, you know about, obviously, the years where the U.S. men were just trying to build something at all. How do you describe what you saw on Friday night? How excited should we be? Because I will tell you,
so
admittedly,
you want me to jump in?
Yeah, by all means. Oh, do we freeze up? Oh, no, I think we froze up. Oh, man. We'll try to
I hear you.
You got me?
You.
Okay, awesome.
I got you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Desmond, how excited should we be based on what we saw on Friday?
Extremely excited. I think that the game itself, the first half especially, it really justified everything that we had hoped for, everything that we thought was going to happen or could happen for the national team relative to all of these players who have gone into Europe at a very young age, come back to the United States, and then from there basically showing the potential, not the potential anymore, but showing their actual talent. And I would say the first half was it. The second half, it kind of reverted back to what we had always kind of gone through. Man, I know they're talented. Why won't they show it? But the overall context was very, very excited. It's going to be a different story once we get to this next game, though, against Australia.
Flo Balogun, right? Like his story, the fact that he ends up playing for the U.S. So many people have told me, Glenn, you don't understand. We don't normally get guys like this. Like we have talent, but we don't have guys like this. And I kind of kept waiting to see it, and now I'm like, oh no, I get it. How special is this young man?
You can see it from the context of him playing in the first half to then being subbed out, and you have Pepe who comes in the second half and replaces him. You can see the difference between the two type of strikers. He's one of these guys that obviously has all of the physical qualities, but he was raised in the Arsenal system, a European system, top system, and he comes out. And he's a star for us. We need a guy like that, and he's delivered. He's been on fire for the entire season, which has been encouraging considering, last year this time, it was sort of like, is he going to be good for us come a year from now? And he has.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Des. The other thing, I think a lot of us were maybe getting a little bit down on Christian Pulisic. He hadn't been the same type of goal scorer in recent months, and we all know they didn't play at the Gold Cup last year, and so we hadn't seen him in a significant U.S. situation in some time. My God, that was a clinic on Friday night, and I had been reminded by a few folks hey, maybe he's not scoring goals, but he's actually still commanding games as well as you thought you need him to. I guess any of our fears about Christian Pulisic have to go away based on what we saw in the first half on Friday night.
Yeah, they have to go away because he did play his game. That was his strength, picking up the ball in space, dribbling guys and not hesitating, just doing his thing. He can run at players, skip past them, get into the box, deliver an assist, or even score himself. And I think, unfairly for him, there's so much weight on him as one player. And he needs a cast of players around him. And I think he has the talent around him now to then afford him a chance to be himself and not be any more than that. And so as long as those other players around him, Malik Tillman, McKinney, Mulligan, as you made mention, and I want to see Tim Weah be on the field as well. When those players around him are on their game, Tyler Adams is, of course, at the number 6 position. If they're on their game, then it can afford him a chance to be himself and not have to be anymore and not have to have the pressure to carry the team. I don't think that Christian is the type of player that can carry an entire team. It doesn't take away from his talent. I'm just saying he's not the one to carry an entire team. None of those players are. All of them have to be on their game and playing in sync. And I think that's what we saw in the first half. It changed in the second half, obviously, when he didn't come back out due to, concerns possibly that he was injured, because I looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, why is he not on the field?
Right.
Come on, are you kidding me? Get him back on there and at least play him for the next 5 minutes to keep that momentum, keep that confidence going for the U.S. team. But again, I think unfairly for us as, supporters of the national team, wanting to see our guys, this talent, do very well, especially on home soil, I think it's unfair for us to say he has to carry our team forward. No, the collective has to carry our team forward. They showed that in the first half. If they can have that sort of energy in the second game against Australia, fantastic. But it's going to be a really, really tough match for us.
Desmond Armstrong is with us here on GCR. Desmond, I want to talk to you about Alex Freeman. And I had to worry a little bit because I've known his dad for forever. Antonio, Baltimore native, obviously a legend around these parts. And I got to know Alex a little bit. He's been on with us a few times. And I'm rooting for him so much that I worry that, my judgment may have been a bit clouded. And a lot of people said, hey, he's still really raw. And I got it, right? He only had a little bit in MLS of success and then just got to Spain and got a taste this year. But what I saw on Friday night was class. I mean, was someone who he ended up getting the assist, obviously, late in the game. But, that's not really the story to me. He looked completely class. Richards obviously was brilliant. I mean, Richards was brilliant on Friday night. But did he prove that he is ready, Alex Freeman, for this stage based on how he played in that first match?
Yeah, I think, high marks for him, especially in the first half. He played to his strength. He is an athlete, and he's got enough technical ability to then go forward and be dangerous. And that's his game. He has the ability to beat players one-on-one, get into space moving forward on offensive thrust, whether he's carrying the ball or whether he's running into space and receiving the ball. The question really becomes maturity as a player. You can see in the second half, he made a square pass that got intercepted.
Yeah.
And that was based off of early success. Also, he got caught carrying the ball forward, dribbling past 1 and 2 players. And then what's going to happen is he'll get nicked. And then it's a counterattack. So he's got to be able to have enough presence of mind and also mature quickly to understand, hey, what I was able to do in the first half may not be required in the second half. So now I have to play in sync with the rest of the team and also the rhythm of the game. And that takes maturity. That takes time. And again, he might not have that opportunity to really learn that before he gets into these situations. He's here now, but he has all of the qualities to be successful at the next level. All he has to add right now is, again, maturity.
I mentioned Chris Richards, right? Can you put into context for us? Because when we see those numbers, 83 for 83 on passes, I know sometimes goofy things can happen, but that seems unreal. And I was watching him and I was impressed as I was going on, but I still couldn't have guessed 83 for 83. How good was Chris Richards on Friday?
Yeah, I was surprised to actually see that stat as well. I thought that, his partner, Tim Ream, would be in that category. consistent, composed, making sound passes based off of his experience. But Chris, hats off. I had a chance to have an interview with him maybe a couple of weeks ago through the BBC. They put us on like I'm on with you. He's a quality guy. He's done everything possible that you can do coming out of Alabama, having to go to Texas to play at a higher level, and then from there getting picked up and going into Germany. All of those experiences have really borne itself out in his experiences playing for Crystal Palace, and now especially for us in the World Cup. So, for me, I looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, this guy is like, star quality. He's steady. We were really, really concerned whether or not he was going to be able to recover in time for him to play, and I'm ecstatic that he's there. I think now, moving forward, he's a leader for the team, and it becomes a matter of who becomes his partner in the back once Tim kind of goes off into the pastures.
You brought up Australia being a tough one on Friday.
Yes.
What still concerns you about this team, Desmond?
Yeah.
What still concerns you about this, as well as they played? What still concerns you about this group? And is goalie still like kind of on that list?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's an excellent question. What concerns me is the fact that, yes, we have a pretty solid defense. We have a good midfield with Adams, McKinney, and Tillman, in my opinion. Okay, those are the starting three. And we have, and again, I would choose Tim Weah to play at the right striker, Christian on the left, and then, of course, Balo as the number 9. Now, I believe our weak part is goalkeeping. And so if you were to contrast us against Australia, their goalkeeper played out of his mind in that first game. And the other context in terms of the danger from Australia is the fact that Australia is highly, highly organized, and they played a 5 in the back, 5-4-1. That's what they did. I think they're going to come out again with the 5-4-1, 5 in the back, 4 in the midfield, 1 up top, in regards to facing us, because we were successful playing against Paraguay of getting the ball out wide to a Christian. And again, I would choose Timmy Weah because he's highly offensive-minded, quick, and dangerous. Put him on the right. We are successful in getting the ball wide and then running at guys. And so when you have a defense that sets up with 5 in the back, like Australia did, now when you play the ball wide, they already have a guy there standing in that channel or that lane, which then forces those runners, Christian and potentially Dest or Timothy Weah, to come to the inside. And so that's going to be difficult for us, and then have to build in the midfield to find those seams. I think Tillman has the ability and the talent and the vision to find those seams, but it's going to be very, very difficult.
You got a thought on the water breaks? I know everybody's all worked up about them. I mean, they definitely seem like they're too long, and I have like found myself oddly more bothered than I expected to be. Like, there's a part of me that said, because I call a lot of college soccer, and we see it a lot in college soccer. I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. But as I've been watching, I don't know, man. I found them to be burdensome.
I agree with you. I firmly agree with you. I think that the consideration was, and I'm old enough to remember this because I was a part of the '94 experience of the World Cup. I was at the final game, and it was hot in the Rose Bowl. I mean, it was hot. And that wasn't the only.
Yeah, there's no shade there. There's no shade at the Rose Bowl.
There's no shade. There's no breeze. There's no breeze except people, in a bowl. So I think the consideration was the fact that it was so hot last time in 1994 in the summer that they wanted to institute something that, counters that experience or the potential of that experience. So I am bothered by it as well. I'm bothered by it, by the fact that, look, some of these games don't need a water break. If we find a game where you need the water break, it's clear you're going to need a water break, then institute the water break.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the break of the game, break up the rhythm, and almost like putting an American spin on it, that we're playing quarters now. We're playing basketball quarters or whatever. In a soccer game, I have a problem with it. And just bear with me here. The commercialization of soccer from an American perspective, yeah, I know we're American. I know we do this. I know, we got sponsors and whatnot, but man, I'm telling you, it just bothers the mess out of me. It just kills the whole vibe.
I am with you. I really am. And I was somebody that was really poo-pooing it. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to keep these guys safe. But seeing it is a lot. It is a burden, man, when you're trying to watch the game. All right, let me pose it to you this way, Desmond. What can this group do? Like, I know it's been kind of like today. Belgium's trailing Egypt, and Cape Verde tied Spain, and there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on. Playing at home, and you referenced you were there. I know you weren't playing in '94, but I get what can this group accomplish at this World Cup?
Legitimately, if they were to play like they played in the first half and find the maturity to carry that energy into every game, I believe this team has the talent to get to the quarterfinals.
Wow.
And possibly, if they were to make it to the quarterfinals, possibly at that stage, they could make it into the semis. I truly believe that. I said to them, the team actually came here to Nashville some 3 years ago to play against Ghana. And I had a chance to meet everybody, shake hands and so forth. And this is when Greg Berhalter was the coach, and he wanted to honor those players who had come before and link them to the players that we have today. I told those players, which I truly believe, these guys have the talent to go beyond the 2002 World Cup team.
Wow.
These guys have the ability and the talent. And I think we saw that. That's why I was so excited. We saw that in the first half of that first game. So the question becomes, can they turn that on a consistent basis from game to game? So I tell you, we have the talent to make it to the quarterfinals and even beyond it. But the question becomes, and I think it's going to be borne out in this next game against Australia. I truly believe this. If they come correct in this next game and get past Australia, then I think we can make it all the way to the semis.
That is a bold proclamation from your lips to God's ears, my friend. Like, may that be the case for this group. Desmond, what do you got going on? What can we plug for you, my friend?
Oh, I've got a kid's book. I've got something to plug.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've got a kid's book. It's on Amazon. It's called the Soccer Boy series. It's Desmond Armstrong. Hey, soccer boy, how's that hockey? That's the title.
I just found it. We will link that up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio for people to check it out. That's awesome. That is so cool. I dig that, man. Desmond, we'd love to, as the World Cup goes on, we'd love to catch back up with you if you'd be up for it.
Absolutely, man. Call me back in. I would love to join up with you again to talk soccer and to dream, baby. Dream.
Let's dream. And we love you back here at home, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you.
The great Desmond Armstrong, the pride of Howard High and, of course, former Terp, and great from his own national team career. Appreciate him taking the time. And boy, he's bullish. He's bullish. We like that. I did not think that the water breaks are going to bother me as much as they do. They've actually pissed me off.
Well, I mean, then you talk about, like, obviously it becomes quarters. And, like, Curacao tie. They tie the game in like, the first minute, 22nd minute or whatever against Germany. And it's like, if there's no timeout immediately after that.
Right. Are they able to keep the momentum going?
Yeah.
Now, look, they gave up 7, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I think
Germany was able to come back and score 2
No,
goals
I get
halftime.
what you're saying, right? What you're saying is it does change a lot, and it's very difficult because in some of these locations it is bloody hot, and I don't have the right answer for this. This is not. You can't bring them off for 5 minutes and then put them back on. But I hate it. I really hate the water breaks. It's been driving me nuts. Australia, if you missed it, beat Turkey 2-0, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. The Socceroos looking like they may be a legitimate threat going into their matchup with the U.S. on Friday. That's a 3 o'clock game on Friday. Appreciate Desmond Armstrong taking the time for us. All right. Oh yeah, and John from Little Rock brings up Gio Reyna. Well, yeah, it was a massive. Given everything that happened with the Reynas and Greg Berhalter, I think that was massive. I think that was massive for Gio Reyna, and also for maintaining the momentum. A lot of our feelings about that last Friday, it's really the story of they played brilliantly for a half. If they win 3-1, if they don't score, we come out of it saying, wow, they had a really great half. And I think our ability to say they played a great game was also influenced by the fact that they still got that one at the death. And I do think it was massive for Gio Reyna as well. So I think that was big. I think you're right about that. And, boy, I couldn't say enough about Chris Richards. God, Chris Richards was good. Oh, he was so good on Friday. And Alex was excellent. For that to be at 21, his World Cup debut, I mean, very much looked like he belonged. 100% looked like he belonged, and that was really special as we got to know him a little bit. All right, you want to do the other thing quickly, and then... Yeah.
Three up.
And 3 down.
Final days for the print issue of Press Box. Go get it at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores for free before it's gone. You can read it all for free as well at PressBoxOnline.com. That print issue of Press Box, go get it today. 3 up and 3 down. We begin with the up, right? Because it was a 3 and 4 week. So, number 3 for me, I was torn between 2 relievers. I did ultimately go Tyler Wells just because it felt like they won a game in part because of Tyler Wells. Yennier Cano, I could make a strong argument for deserving to be on this list. Clearly, the run that he gave up yesterday was definitely not his fault. 3 errors in 1 inning.
Yeah, but only 1 run given up. That's kind of...
Yennier Cano was excellent all week, but I defaulted to Tyler Wells. He's my number 3.
That's fair. I had 1 pitcher, and he was my number 1 for the week.
Really?
Yeah. Pete Alonso was my number 3.
He was higher on my list.
I felt like I was almost. I mean, the numbers obviously ended up kept piling up pretty well for Pete, but it just felt like, at least early, I guess, in the week, it felt like he was the banner for this runners in scoring position thing.
I mean, I get that. Like, if you want to look at it specifically through that prism, I understand, but the numbers were
3 home runs, drove in 8, so Pete made my list.
He's my number 1 for the week.
Oh, wow.
Because of that. Blaze Alexander is my number 2, who was 8 for 15.
Yeah, it was
8 for 15.
He's a Blaze.
It's unreal, man.
Blaze
Plus, I know it didn't count. I know it got overturned yesterday, but while we've debated Blaze Alexander in the outfield and probably shouldn't be in center field, that was a hose, man. Like, I did not when I realized it was Blaze, I was like, oh no. And then that was a hose. Yeah. So ball player, Blaze number 2, Pete Alonso number 1.
He's mine too as well. Brennan Young is my number 1.
Okay.
I mean, the stopper, the ace, whatever we want to call it, that's what he did Wednesday night. They were on a 4-game slide and 7 scoreless, struck out 5, only 4 base runners. I mean, that was exactly what they needed. And Brandon Young's my number 1.
You know what? Like, you're right. You're right. I think. Fine. I'll just give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Got it right.
I'll just give it to you.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I know baseball.
I really don't want to. I don't want to. I'll give it to you. You got it. He was great. He was great. For the other side of things, for the down, my number 3, Colton Cowser's my number 3. It sucks. 2 for 21, 7 strikeouts, OPS 478. He wasn't good. There's no way around it.
Yeah. This was a tough list for me to make because I feel like you could have gone 3 batters here. You could have gone 3 pitchers here. I mean, you obviously could have mixed it up too. You're probably not gonna like that. I went 3 pitchers. I left off Holiday. I left off Cowser. I mean, they all still hit like kind of important home runs at some point during the week.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still kind of giving Holiday a little bit of a crutch right now with the wrist, with the hamate bone thing, and like I don't know. I don't know. Rico Garcia is my number 3. He was obviously not sharp this week, giving up the homer Tuesday, which I guess was kind of fluky, like being in extra innings, and it was 3 or 4 inches off the plate, and that ball somehow goes out. But he wasn't good in his other 2 outings either. So Rico Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably the guy that was closest to making my list, but I couldn't compare him to either Cowser or Jackson Holliday, who was number 2 on my list. And look, you can say, well, he hit a grand slam. How bad is your week if you hit a grand slam and you OPS'd 440?
Yeah.
Like, it was a dreadful week. Finished 2 for 21. Yes, there was a grand slam. That did happen. It was a wretched week for Jackson Holliday. And by the way, it was difficult that I made this list after I was so bothered by what happened yesterday.
Well,
I was so bothered by it. Those 2 guys, unfortunately, had to pay the price for me.
Which is fair. I mean, I can't really. I guess Trey Gibson's my number 2, though. He was
that one. I don't like. Rico, I'm totally fine with.
I mean, I get it. Like, is he supposed to be here?
No,
he pitched twice. He pitched twice this week.
I understand,
and he
but
couldn't get out of the 5th inning either time. You could argue he should have been allowed.
He's never even really succeeded at the AAA level.
He had a 9. He pitched 9 innings this week for the team.
I
and
understand
had a 9
that.
ERA. I mean, like, it was. He was not good.
I understand what you're saying. I just can't get around the fact that he is definitively not supposed to be
I know, but
here.
he pitched twice this week, and they lost both games that he pitched.
I understand,
so, like,
but so would you if you were put in that spot.
Okay, I mean,
that's
yeah,
the problem.
then I would expect myself to show up on the 3-down list when I give up 9 runs over 9 innings. Like,
I just cannot compare him to actual major leaguers, and
that's why he's not number 1.
That's why he's not number 1.
Because the other guy we think is a major leaguer.
His career AAA numbers: 3-8 with a 5.48 ERA and 1.649 WHIP in 16 starts. There is no world where Trey Gibson should be at the major league level.
Okay, well, he is.
Like,
he's pitching, he's pitched a lot of innings for this team this week.
That speaks to a bigger problem, yes, but it did strike me that.
Then then do I put the manager on the list? Do I put the general manager on the list? Like, that's what we're fighting about, I guess. Like,
no,
he's the guy
I think
that played. He's the guy that
there were
played.
too many other awful options for you to have been in that boat.
I guess.
I wish it wasn't, but Kyle Bradish is number 1. Wish that wasn't the case, but that's the reality. You get your brains beat in like this when you're supposed to be the team's ace, you're going to be number 1 on the list. Kyle Bradish is number 1.
You got that one right.
Thanks.
Good job.
I'll actually give you one. I'll give you the Brandon Young one. I absolutely can listen to the argument for Brandon Young. Both Blaze Alexander. I was selfish and wanted to reward Tyler Wells. I really wanted to reward Tyler Wells. Like, the other 2 guys
Well, if Tyler Wells truly
the
deserves
list.
it, then he'll find another way to get on this
is that
list
the way it's
later
gonna
this
work?
season. Yeah.
All right. When we come back in, there was a championship. There were actually multiple championships given out this weekend. None bigger, of course. The drought is over. The Louisville Kings won the UFL, baby.
Let's go.
Coach Chris Redman is going to join us. Former Baltimore Ravens quarterback. Now the head coach of the United Bowl champions. He joins us next. Glenn Clark Radio.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game, it's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCRs and continue along on a Monday edition of the program. Congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to the Hurricanes. I don't have a lot of takes. It's a bummer how after like the first 4 games were biblical in the Stanley Cup final, the last couple were just kind of okay. Shout out to Brandon Bussey. What a story that is. And really kind of a cool story. Rob Brindamore delivering them their first championship as a player and now as a coach. Like, that is a really cool story that probably didn't get enough play during the course of the postseason. But congratulations to the Hurricanes. And the Knicks thing, obviously unbelievable for their fans. 53-year drought. That's incredible. Jalen Brunson, really one of the more embraceable superstars. Just everything about him is kind of what you want an athlete to be. Like, just no ego, just work, just drive. And then obviously the images of him and his dad celebrating together and his emotions getting swept up in it, really special. Spurs, that's the way it works. Teams that break through the first time, they just tend to not be able to get there. Now, blowing double-digit leads in every game, it's quite the path to not getting there, but unbelievable scenario, unbelievable storyline. There was another championship that was given out this weekend down in D.C., and he's the son of a coach, and he is now a championship-winning coach. He's former Ravens quarterback, now the head coach of the United Bowl champion Louisville Kings. He's Chris Redman, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you again. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on, too. Really appreciate it, Glenn. And excited. What a heck of a year. It was a heck of a ride, man. We had a lot of fun, and it was great to top of the first year off with the Louisville Kings on top. It was an amazing year.
Chris, I brought up Jalen Brunson and his dad, but watching on Saturday – and your dad being there, and you being the son of a coach and the influence that he's had on your life, can you put that part of this into context for you, being able to celebrate with him?
It was amazing. I mean, I talked to my dad literally multiple times a day. We were really, really close. I won a state championship playing for him in high school, and obviously he was there with me when I was at the University of Louisville and obviously in the Baltimore when I finished my career in the Falcons. He was there through all the ups and downs, and I think he always wanted me to get into coaching. And this year, when I finally got my toes into the water with coaching, and when this new job came open for the Louisville Kings, he's really excited. And it's never easy. Obviously, we started off at 0-3, so we're like, man, what did I get into here? But we really had to dig deep, and he was a big inspiration part of me, and the reason that I'm here today for sure is because of him, and he helped me through a lot of decisions. So yeah, it's great to have your dad there, and he's a heck of a mind. And I actually put him in the category of Ray Lewis as two of the best motivators I've ever been around. He just had an ability to motivate.
That's
So
impressive company. That's impressive company.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you told Ray that you hold him in that? No, I was kidding. I was kidding about that. Chris, you know that we had both Mac and Jamie on last week. This was one of my favorite stories of some time. Can you explain? You know, you get this opportunity. There's a team in Louisville, a place I know how deeply you care about that place. How this came about that you said, if I'm going to do this, I want nothing but my former Ravens teammates to be on the sideline with me.
You know what? It was funny is because I was just in a Super Bowl reunion last year at the Pittsburgh game. I saw Chris McAllister. You know, he talked about, getting back into coaching. He was talking with the Ravens a little bit. So I kind of put a little bit of bird in my ear. And then I talked to Brad Jackson. Me and him are really close. And I talked to him all the time. And so I knew he was kind of involved in doing some scouting work and stuff like that, and knew a lot of players. And then, you know, with Tony Banks, you know, we were just really close. And we only played together 1 year, but I somewhat stayed close. And he lived in Dallas. And it's kind of tricky with coaching is, it's a lot to do with, who lives there. And Tony and Chris McAllister both live in Dallas too. And so, you know, to get someone to move from their hometown to Dallas is a hard thing to do. But so it all just kind of worked out timing wise and knowing those guys. And Trezman and Jamie, you know, Jamie was in the UFL, so I thought it was like, man, it's a perfect fit. He was coaching special teams and linebackers. I'm like, you know, he was on a championship team the year before. What a perfect fit that would be to be a coordinator, because he knows a lot of the guys and he obviously knows defenses. And so we mixed together, and I got a little bit of experience with offensive coordinator Steve Logan and Jeff Jagosinski, who was a coordinator for the Packers back in the day, and both of them have head coaching experience. So, you know, you put it all together, and it actually became a well-oiled machine. And like, you know, we came together really fast, and real excited about, you know, the job they did, and surrounded myself with some incredible talent.
The five of you that were from the 2000 Ravens team, right? Like, I asked these guys the same question. That bond that you had, anything about that experience of having won a championship together before that you saw? I mean, we're talking about 26 years later, but like, did you see that like pay off for you guys in any particular way, or anything that as a team maybe you adopted that you feel like might have come from those experiences with the 2000 Ravens?
Absolutely. Just the camaraderie, and then the brotherhood that we had a long time ago. And I knew, you know, that was an impressive and incredible team. You know, the 2000 Baltimore, especially on the defense side of the ball, they were an amazing group of individuals. And, you know, that during the tough times, I knew they were going to be there, because they were there when we went through a tough time in 5 games with no offense. You know, like we had our tough times as well, but I knew exactly what they would do. And I think they felt the same. You know, there's definitely we picked it up right where we left it off. We have an incredible relationship. We're laughing and joking. I mean, I feel like I'm back in the locker room again, which I kind of was, but we're more in the office with those guys. And it was an incredible experience. I'm just really happy that I put that group together, and they're a special group of coaches and people. And, you know, they knew what, you know, we didn't want to be good. We wanted to dominate on defense. That's just inherited from, you know, that mentality of that 2000 team, and I knew they would do that.
He is Chris Redman. He's with us here on GCR. Man, it's so interesting, because I wanted to ask you next about facing that adversity, and you brought up the start, obviously 0-3, 1-4, but that is a really fascinating comparison, right? Like, because the guys last week kept saying they gave you so much credit for how you handled that and didn't panic, and it's such a unique comparison to that stretch that you guys went through in 2000 where, like, nothing was working offensively, nothing.
Yeah,
and you couldn't score a touchdown. And it is like, were you really in a place where you weren't, at 0-3, you weren't panicked at all?
I wasn't panicked one bit, because, you know, 2 of those games we're talking like we fumbled on the 1-yard line on one. The other one, you know, we lost in an overtime game by a referee called 2 penalties in overtime. So, which they ended up changing the rules 3 days later. So I knew we were close. I think there's a lot of teams that maybe people thought that they were out, are maybe not as good as they thought, and then some were probably a little better than they thought. So it was, it could have gone either way. It gave me an opportunity to make some changes I wanted to make, though, when we were 0-3. We switched quarterbacks, running backs, and our offensive line, and we just kind of kept getting better. And so, all those things kind of accumulated effect of all of us really figuring out what chemistry we needed. We put the right chemistry together, and then good things really started happening fast. But we wanted the right type of people too. We got rid of the guys that weren't team players, and we went to a group of guys that it's team first. And I think that really made a big difference as well. And that's where we kind of changed the culture, and all the coaches, they were bought in, and the players bought in right afterwards. Once they saw, like, oh, this is what it's going to take to make this team, and they really bought in.
Can I assume that then when you guys were down 16-7 at the half in the championship game, it was sort of a similar feeling of there is no need to panic about this, like we've had our backs against the wall?
Absolutely. That's your mindset now. I mean, for the rest, we'll some people just panic, and it's funny, like, when things go wrong, whatever, it's just making some adjustments, and it's just, getting a few little changes. We know we were close at halftime. We were down, but not one person flipped out at all. We all stayed the course, got back on track, and man, we had an incredible second half, and what a celebration we had at the end of that to do that. And that game kind of summed up our year of a slow start, but man, finishing strong is by far the most important. We made that very, very evident that it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that game was the same way.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Chris, I wanted to ask you about a guy that plays on the defensive side of the ball for you, who had actually spent a little bit of time in Baltimore. That's Corey Mayfield, who I know forced a fumble on Saturday and was a massive part of your team all season long. What makes that young man special, and how ready do you feel like he might be for like another opportunity in the NFL?
Yeah, he's a great player, very athletic. He was one of the top, either the top or the top two leading interceptions on defense. When he has a chance to make a play, he's going to make a play, and he's got incredible hands, which you can't say that about a lot of DBs. And so he's that guy, that playmaker that you need. And yeah, I think he's going to get another look in the NFL, and I think people are actually looking at him as we speak. So I'm real excited about him getting a chance. And that's the beauty of this league is, man, I just love to see guys getting opportunities to make it back in the league, and this is a vehicle that they could do that.
From you, I mentioned I remember bumping into you a few years back at the Derby at one point. I know how much you love Louisville. You'd win a race for mayor as long as Lamar isn't in it.
Yeah, that's right.
What does it mean? Like, can you put that part? Like, I know it's the UFL. I know it's not winning a Super Bowl for that city, but like it's still bringing a championship to a city, and a city that I'm gonna guess was embracing this, not having an NFL team. Can you describe that for you? What it means to do this for Louisville?
Yeah, well, it was a big deal. It was actually a bigger deal than I think I even thought, because how many people has reached out and been so supportive and came to the games, and even when we were down a slow start, they were right there tailgating and excited about it. Man, they have got on board now, and really excited that we finished the season off. I'm from Louisville. Lamar's not. Lamar is a great player for Louisville, and he's a great. But that's my hometown. Like when this coaching career is over, I'm going to live in Louisville. That's where I'm at, and so it means more to me. There's a lot of coaches in this league that coach for a city or whatever, but none of them coach from the city that they grew up in and played little league football and middle school and high school and college. My grandfather and my dad both played football and college, and I was the third generation to play at Louisville. So Louisville to me is a special place, and so it's even extra special to bring a trophy. I'm driving home right now with a big trophy in my front seat to take back, and everybody's so excited for me to bring it home. So that to me is a little bit more special than probably a lot of the other coaches around the league, I guess.
Man, that's cool, Chris. That is so cool. I hope you felt there are a lot of people back here in Baltimore that were really embracing you guys, and this story of you all being together, it's just so cool, man. Like, to see you guys win championship together, it's awesome. Congratulations, Chris. Thanks as always taking
Thank
the time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Former Ravens quarterback Chris Redman, part, of course, of the Super Bowl 35 championship team, and now the United Bowl winning head coach of the Louisville Kings. It does. It did it what?
Water break.
Oh, I didn't even know that Belgium scored. Oh, thank God. I didn't even catch that. Thank God.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, this is important. It does bring to my attention
Yeah.
the fact that there was a goal scored.
However, we're going right into a timeout now, so.
Oh, they can't sustain the momentum.
Yeah, Egypt's got a chance to draw things up here. And
I hate the water breaks. I really didn't think I was going to hate the water breaks the way that I do. Because we see them. Anybody who calls college soccer, you see it all the time, and it's just. But they clearly they're not going out of their way to try to make it a commercial break when they do it. Oh, I hate the water breaks so much. Yeah, congratulations to Louisville. Is there anything else from this weekend that we needed to talk about? We covered the World Cup, obviously.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, yeah, I guess we probably could do.
Morocco-Brazil was awesome. Morocco-Brazil was a match, baby. Like, damn, that was good. Yeah, I think
Where
that's.
did that one finish?
2-2.
Oh yeah.
Right? Was it 2-2?
That was.
It was definitely
I guess
it was a
I'm
draw.
thinking of Japan, Netherlands.
It was a draw. I think it was 2-2.
They
Maybe it was 1-1.
I believe you.
Hang on a second. Let me make sure I have this right. 1-1. Sorry, it wasn't 2-2.
I didn't believe you.
Yeah, why the hell would you believe me? What the hell do I know? I thought Japan played Belgium.
I was about to say, are you sure Brazil and Morocco?
Yes, I know that Brazil and Morocco played. I know that happened on Saturday. I was watching at least some of it on Saturday. My kids' baseball team did not win, however. Heartbreak City, man. Yeah, let me tell you how it happened, too. It was 5-5, bottom of the sixth, bases loaded with one out, right? And kid they put into pitch because the other kid wasn't allowed to pitch anymore was struggling to throw strikes, and it was 3-1. No, it was 3-0. Oh. And you're like, oh, no. And throws two great pitches, gets it back to 3-2. The next 2 or 3 are fouled off, and you're like, oh, man, come on, just need one pitch. Next pitch, works a pop-up. Right back to the pitcher. We're like, all right, man, we're good. Catches it, no problem. The kid that was on first base, I guess, forgot that there was only one out.
Oh, no.
Kid that was on first base starts running towards second. Pitcher notices it. We're going to get out of the inning. Turns, throws. The first baseman didn't realize. It didn't
Whether maybe he thought it was
process.
3 outs or
I don't know.
He was just away. Okay.
His mind wasn't there. Ball's not perfectly on line, but it wasn't a bad throw. It gets away. Runner comes in from third base. Game over. Oh, and there were some adults that weren't handling it well. Because, like, the umpire had called for an infield fly, and he was like, he called infield fly! We're like, right, but they threw the ball away. He didn't advance. He didn't tag. He advances on the throw because in our league, if you throw it and it goes out of play, everybody immediately. Like, that's the way it works. He's like, but the kid actually never went back and touched first base. Go over there and you should challenge. And I'm like, right, but the run still counts. Heartbreaking way for the season to come to an end. Heartbreaking way. Alas. So it goes.
Sorry to the boys.
So it goes. Anything else? We good for the weekend?
I had to play first yesterday for my team.
Oh?
Our first baseman got injured, and our other first basemen are all away on vacation, so I had to step in.
I thought anybody could play first base.
Well,
that's baseball.
But I haven't played it since, middle school probably.
Oh,
so
how'd you do?
I did pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good. We came back and won.
Hey!
Probably partly due to the play of the first baseman, probably.
Did you cover?
Did I cover the?
Did your team cover
the spread?
Yeah.
Probably not. Actually, we might have been underdogs. I'm not sure. We were on the road, so we won 4-3. So that was. I need to know a little bit more info about that. I mean, good teams win.
Great.
I think
great
we might have
teams
been. We
covered.
might have been underdogs at that point.
How
I'm
about
not
that?
sure. Yeah,
How about that?
I would think, knowing
Big
we were down
statement
a few guys.
win.
This was the play of the game from the UFL game. I don't know if you wanted to watch. This was the wildest sequence. Did you see this punch out? I'm not sure.
Courtesy of ESPN.
Yeah, courtzy of ESPN. So look, they're on their own 10.
Mhm.
Guy breaks it. It's about to be a
Oh, boy.
90-yard touchdown here.
When was this in the game?
This was in the end of the first quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, he pops it.
That wasn't Mayfield, was it?
No, that was not Mayfield.
Okay.
Mayfield right there. He almost recovered it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so so that was just a
All right, there we go.
Just a wild sequence.
Courtesy of
ESPN. Yeah.
ESPN. Thank you then.
That it was going to be a touchdown, and then
I see that.
it popped it. The ball rolled 40 yards.
I did witness that.
I forget you don't like football.
I like football. I like it. I don't know what you want from me here. What do you want from me? That is the single most significant
and that's what I'm
thing
saying.
that's
Yeah,
ever occurred in the history of football.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, what would you expect? Kings 2000 Ravens defense.
True. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone. If you missed anything during championship season in the spring, they've got it for you there, and they'll get you ready all summer for football and fall sports. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
Based on population, I'm looking at the 5 smallest countries to ever qualify for the
Cape Verde.
Cape Verde is in the top 5. They're not the smallest, but
They're
in the
491,000, right?
Yes, or around 500,000.
Yeah.
It looks like it's somewhere between 490 and 520. But they're the 3rd smallest country.
They're the 3rd smallest country.
Yes.
Curacao.
Curacao is the smallest.
The smallest. Okay.
156,000.
156,000. How did they get in?
They beat somebody in the.
That's crazy, man.
I guess in CONCACAF, right?
Iceland's not in.
Iceland's not in this year, but it is all time. Iceland is on the list. They earned the.
Oh, it's all time?
Yeah, all time.
Oh, I thought you meant
all
this
time.
year.
No. I guess we could have done that. Yeah. We're doing all time because that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, Iceland is.
Well, now I don't know what to do. Now
they were the smallest before Curacao got in.
Shit.
350,000 for Iceland when they qualified in 2018.
Now I really don't know. I really thought it was just this year, so I was going to go like Qatar.
They are not in the top 5.
Yeah, because it's all time. There's got to be like a former Soviet in there. Bosnia?
No, not Bosnia.
This is going to be so much easier when I...
Sorry.
How about... I don't know if these countries ever... Like, I can think of small countries, but I have no idea if they ever were in a World Cup. Luxembourg.
No. Okay, they're both on this hemisphere. Or I guess I should say the Western Hemisphere. Sorry. They're Americans. Trinidad and Tobago had 1.3 million in 2006 when they were in the World Cup, and then this team is in the World Cup this year, but their population has since skyrocketed since the first time they got in 1930.
They're in the World Cup. Their population has skyrocketed.
Well, I guess skyrocketed, but I mean it's exponentially more than it was in 1930, but still not like it's a major.
I'm going to say it's one of the Guays.
It is one of the Guays.
Which one of the Guays is it? I would assume that has to be Paraguay. Is it Paraguay or Paraguay?
I
think it's Paraguay.
Yeah.
Paraguay.
Paraguay, yes.
Hell
they had
yeah!
Less than 1 million people when they first qualified in 1930, and then the smallest country to ever win the World Cup.
Is it England?
They've won it twice. Not England. They've won it twice.
The smallest country to ever win the World Cup.
Winning in 1930 and 1950.
Smallest country to ever win the World Cup. 1950. Obviously, I have a lot of memories of 1950. Was that... I don't know, man. I don't know.
Another South American country.
None of these. Chile? They don't.
No. Close.
Yeah.
Because it's in South America.
Yeah, but like it's obviously not Brazil or Argentina.
No.
Paraguay.
Not.
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
But they're Uruguay, right? It's Paraguay and Uruguay.
I
right?
would call them both Guayas, but maybe I'm wrong.
Get to the bottom of
Maybe
this,
maybe I'm
please.
ignorant.
Get,
I don't
please
know.
get to the bottom of this so that we don't feel
Uruguay. So you
assholes.
think it's Uruguay?
I gotta
mean,
I gotta talk about this on WBAL.
They're both spelled Guay.
I know, but I feel like one of them's Guay and one of them's Guay.
I don't know. I'll work on it.
I'll help her.
I'll work on it.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Don't just close the blinds, huh? What are you planning to do exactly over there? I get a little uncomfortable.
Looking to stay cool with the sun not in my eyes.
They have a
warming.
The folks, the fellows on the morning show on 98 Rock, they have a setting on their studio window where they can frost the window, so that like if anything they're about to do should not be seen. That's how they go about doing it for the rest of the office. That was actually years upon years ago before 105.7 was a sports station.
So like blurs the window basically.
It frosts it. Like
so it does like physically get colder.
It doesn't get cold. No,
Oh,
they
okay.
just put up like a
Got it.
Before 105.7 was a sports station. It was a guy talk station, and like there used to be like strip clubs that would. This is the Howard Stern era. Like they would promote to have strippers come by, and they same bit like had a setting. It wasn't nearly as technologically advanced as the one that 98 Rock has, but they could black out the studio windows whenever something like that was going on. It's a very common era or thing that happened in that era of radio.
Dang.
Yeah, no Orioles tonight, of course. Right now they're in the 79th minute. Belgium and Egypt still tied up 1 apiece. That's on Fox tonight. FS1 for Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. We're sure?
No.
That's at 6. Iran and New Zealand at 9. What happened with Alabama and Texas?
I turned it off because Alabama kept giving up runs.
Oh, Texas was pounding them. So.
It was like 4-1 when we turned it off, but like Alabama just couldn't get out of it. Oh yeah, they're Texas pounding them 11-2 in the 7th.
So it looks like Alabama's going to be out of
Unless
the
they,
College World
unless
Series.
It's an epic comeback here.
The winners tonight: Georgia and Oklahoma at 7 o'clock on ESPN.
2 innings.
WWE Monday Night Raw live from CFG Bank Arena this evening at 8 o'clock on Netflix, and unfortunately, I'll be there.
Oh, nice.
No. You want to go?
Just take your spot? Is that
Yes. My God, what I wouldn't.
Maybe.
We can talk about it. I don't think my buddy would be thrilled if I...
Well, tell him to give up his ticket, too. I'll bring one of my buddies.
Okay. No, he wants to go. That's the problem.
Well, then he'll
He
join
wants
with me.
to go. I do not.
I got to think of a poster to make.
No interest whatsoever.
I don't know. I haven't been following
I'm
the
missing
storylines
Monday
close
Night
enough.
Trivia for it, too. Not thrilled about it. But, yeah, that's where I'll be. That's on Netflix. Everything else, GlennClarkRadio.com. Non-sports.
I don't think there was anything. Yeah. Just American Ninja Warrior. No. That's it.
Wow, that's rough.
There's nothing.
That's rough. All right, then. Thanks today to Chris Redman. Thanks to Desmond Armstrong and to Zach Moore. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the...
Seth Meyers is going to have Carmelo Anthony and Anna Gasteyer.
No. Gasteyer. No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fallon's having the New York Knicks and Wu-Tang Clan.
All of them, or
I
just
don't know. It just says
like Jose Alvarado?
Pretty good. He contributed.
Yeah, he contributed.
Landry
but, like,
Shamet and Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit different than
Jalen Brunson and
OG
Karl
Anunoby.
Towns, yeah.
And, like,
although Karl Cat didn't do anything.
not in Game 5, but he had a very good playoffs.
Yes.
Very good playoffs until then.
But Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh boy, I guess
what they're saying is the reason they came back.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Everything flipped after halftime. I guess I would go to that tour. I guess. Yeah, I think that'd be a yes.
Right.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program,
we'll hear your analysis of Monday Night Raw.
Former Ravens linebacker Jason Phillips, probably a name you've forgotten about from the past. Was here for a few years. He's got a book out, and I first admittedly thought, like, Jason Phillips is writing a book, but that's kind of the point. And it's an interesting read. Looking forward to talking to him about that tomorrow. Stuff and Things.
Yeah. Orioles can't lose tonight.
That's true. That is a good point. Normal time tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, back to 11 a.m. I was about to say 10 a.m. No, 11 a.m. That's when we'll be with you. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, the Costas Inn, Baltimore Area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com, the Maryland Department of Health. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Wrestlers. Duke sucks.